Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Smells Like Identity Hygiene podcast in our new studio in front of a live studio audience. Sort of. So with me today, I have the lovely and talented Alexis Ierardi. Said that right? Who is a major account executive for CyberArk.
Yes, thank you.
Alexis, thanks for joining us. So can we start maybe, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been with CyberArk for over 8 years now, which is so crazy to think about. I've supported customers all over the United States, from the West Coast to the Midwest, and now here in the East Coast in New York and New Jersey. I still live in the Boston area, so can make the commute all the time. Love the Amtrak. Into the city to meet with my customers and fabulous partners like Sphere. So it's been so great to be partnering with you guys and to be here today.
Great. So I know a lot of people, at least the people that are listening to this podcast, know what CyberArk is, but they probably are familiar with CyberArk as the PAM solution. Sure. And of course, we talk about all the time that CyberArk is more than just CyberArk PAM. It's kind of where CyberArk started, but it is so much more these days. Can you tell us a little bit about I think it'd be interesting for our audience to hear how CyberArk views itself in kind of the identity and security space.
Yeah, so, and I'm so glad that you're bringing this up because I think it's a common misconception for a lot of our customers these days, and a lot of folks who might have heard about CyberArk in the past but haven't had the chance to interact with us in the last couple of years. We are now the identity security company, and we're securing all identities from human identities and traditional PAM up into machine identities as well, and covering workforce identities, non-human accounts. There's a lot we can do today that our customers don't realize, and customers out there in the space that might not interact with CyberArk, that we can do. So we're here to help, right? We think it's really critical that all identities are secured because in these days, we're no longer all coming to the office anymore. I mean, some companies, they're doing a lot of bringing folks back to the office now, but we're in a world where the identity is the point of breach for a lot of these incidents that we've been hearing. And so I'm going to throw out an old CyberArk slogan to protect the heart of the enterprise. We have to protect the identities. Each individual identity as a human and a machine, an application, those are the new hearts of the identity, if you will. So I think it's really critical.
And when we talk about identities and when we talk about the accounts and securing the identities, right? Because it's when we talk about identities, we're talking about more than just the B. Smith account, right? As you said, it's machine identities. It's all the other elements of a modern workforce and the way that they interact with your infrastructure and SaaS applications, et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of discovery and how discovery fits in that entire framework?
Right. I think this might be a basic take here, but if you don't know what you have, you can't secure it. And so discovery is the first step. And that's why I think partnering with Sphere is really critical for a lot of our customers. It's really difficult to get into your environment and to discover what you have. And that's why I think Sphere has an excellent tool. And I know maybe a little bit more commercially than we originally thought of, but I love Sphere, getting in there for discovery. But getting in there and figuring out what you have today is just so important because then you can create a baseline. Once you know what you have, then you can put a plan in place to secure it. What do you want to tackle first? We don't like boiling the ocean. I don't think anyone does. We can use the other analogy, eating an elephant in one bite is just not possible. So how do we take advantage of our discovery process in a way that's going to result in the highest ROI, meeting the goals for our customers? Our customers all have different goals. What is important to them? Is it securing the human accounts? Is it securing the machine accounts and machine identities? Is it securing the Linux servers out there? Is that an important audit requirement? Cyber insurance has been really a strong driver for a lot of our customers to come in and to do critical discovery to meet these requirements and to get insurance for cyber insurance these days.
So we hear that a lot as well when it comes to cyber insurance, and it seems like the insurance companies, the auditors, they are getting a lot more sophisticated. Where in the past it was kind of a superficial, "Are you doing X?" Now it's, "Well, are you doing X, A, B, C, and show me the evidence that you're doing that." Can you tell me how CyberArk kind of plays into that in terms of showing these, whether it's showing value in having a tool like CyberArk beyond PAM, right? Again, let's talk about some of the other tools that CyberArk sells, and how they fit into that story around securing the entire infrastructure, securing not just the traditional data center, but all the extra stuff that the
Right.
modern workforce uses.
Right. Well, obviously PAM, right, being a key factor for cyber insurance, but then we think about securing endpoints. How do we establish least privilege on workstations and servers? That's been a really hot topic for a lot of my customers for a lot of different reasons: internal audit, cyber insurance, other sorts of compliances. And that is something that our endpoint privilege manager tool can do, establishing least privilege. We have an agent that gets onto these workstations and servers, and it removes the blanket local administrative privilege for these endpoints. But one of the biggest problems that a lot of our customers will run into is when you remove local admin, then all of a sudden you get an influx of help desk tickets, right? And it puts great strain on the internal organization, be it the help desk team or other leaders within the organization trying to solve this problem. People have access taken away that they've had forever and it's never been limited to. I would say a majority of the individuals who were using this access previously probably didn't use it to the fullest capacity. But when you think of what needs local admin privileges on workstations, it's like changing the date and time, installing a printer, maybe downloading an application off the internet, right? And so most users would probably have, a few issues here and there, but then we think about other users in the community that are heavy into using the local admin, potentially your developer community. You cannot slow the development and the R&D of your organization for the sake of security, and that's a comment I hear all the time from our customers. How do we increase security without reducing operational speed? And so by bringing in a tool like our endpoint privilege manager, we're able to establish the least privilege, take control of those levels of privilege without large disruption to the user base. And that's what a lot of our customers are really looking for these days. They want something that's going to increase levels of security, check the boxes when it comes to audit and compliance and insurance, and increase security all around for their users without that disruption.
It's interesting because if you think about, you go back 20, 30 years ago, and it was all about the perimeter, right? And it was all about securing your infrastructure to make sure that your users inside the infrastructure were protected. But as with SaaS applications, cloud platforms, the mobile workforce, everything that's happened. Now, as we said, there isn't that perimeter. There's no building that everyone goes to and then local network that everyone is protected. I mean, I remember a time, I'm probably dating myself, where, it was a big deal if you got access to the internet. Right? Where you get access to external email was a big deal. But now that world doesn't exist anymore. But even with all the modern ways that people work, with kind of the, you could call it the disconnected ways that people work, we're still talking about fundamental technology. We're still talking about fundamental IT of protecting local admin rights, protecting a laptop and a server from those admins. This isn't something that has been introduced that's new as a result of all these changes in just the last 10 years. This is a problem that technology people, the security people have been tackling forever, and yet it's still there. And the threat landscape just keeps increasing. And then, of course, you have to talk about AI and how that's causing kind of additional threats, ways that environments are compromised. Yet we're still tackling the very basic fundamental issues of who actually could do bad stuff on this server, on this desktop. And it's interesting how, if you think about the last couple of years, people have really now started putting that identity emphasis on it, right? It isn't just about protecting the device or protecting an account with the device, but then ultimately, who is that human, right? That's involved in that. From your perspective and what you're hearing about customers, are you seeing that the customers are actually asking different questions of you than when you first started at CyberArk? Are they talking more about identity and less about, I need to secure this account, but more about, I need to
Definitely.
kind of understand it holistically?
Definitely, right? I would say it's been not, I was going to say a pleasant surprise, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a surprise. I think our strategic team has done an incredible job anticipating our customers' needs and putting together, products in place that were a natural progression, and our customers are embracing it. I find that a lot of my conversations have evolved from just the basic blocking and tackling, building the walls, digging the moats, right? We're past that now. Obviously, that's still, I would say, the fundamentals, that's the basics. They need that to be secure and they need that to be solid. But a lot of our customers that come to CyberArk, they're not just thinking about those basic items today. They're thinking about the next step, the next phase, the next 3, 5, 10 years, partnering with a company like CyberArk that has that vision, that has that potential for solving the use cases and the problems that they know that they have both today and that they will have tomorrow. And so all identities have been so critical for all of our customers. And on a personal note, I've been so excited to see that level of interest from our customers as well. We want to partner with customers that are serious about security, right? We're not shelfware. We're here to get in there and to secure our customers, to help make sure that they do not participate in any sort of breaches or negative press or anything like that. We want to make sure that they are secure, that their customers are secure, and also, I like to say too, have a more secure world. That might be too pie in the sky of an idea, but that's kind of like what I think about when I go to work every day. It's a greater mission that I have and that the company has. Like we think of a better, more secure world, and to do that, it's securing all of the identities. And so we've seen a great response from our customer base wanting to dive into securing the greater workforce, people we don't think traditionally as IT admins or power users, regular folks, salespeople, marketing teams. If someone comes into an organization as a malicious user or a hacker and they want to take an organization down, there's a lot of different ways to do it. One of them could be getting into that marketing team and taking the social accounts. How horrible would it be for top brands to have negative things posted on their socials? We've seen it before, right? Where hackers get after social media accounts and post crazy things. Even if it's not to tear the brand down, it could be to get money, like, send out malicious links, all this other stuff. So that's like something that I would say it's not new anymore, but that was one of the things that really got me excited about securing the greater workforce. Something I think we can all relate to is those marketing and social accounts. But then we can also think about banking and financial access now to the cloud, securing cloud access, not access to the cloud, not just access to the cloud, of course, access to the cloud, but the access within the cloud, making sure that especially now, so many organizations, they're cloud first, they're SaaS first, and they're building out their entire infrastructures into AWS, Azure, GCP, other cloud environments. How do we make sure that those environments are secure? How do we make sure that they're not, attacked or used maliciously, for folks? That's another type of stealing that people can do. You can get into these cloud accounts and create, servers for your own crypto mining, charge it back to the company, right? How horrible would that be for an organization to be spending that money?
So one thing you mentioned was interesting. You talked about how essentially the security product that you buy has to be able to grow with you,
Yes.
and you have to understand the vision of that security product. People always talk about buy products for what the functionality they have today, not the functionality that they're promising in the future. And of course, that makes sense for a cell phone or if you're buying a car, right? Because you need to use it today. And if they promise something, you just don't know, will you actually get it? And there's plenty of instances where you don't get what's been promised. But if you think about it, a security product is different because you know that you are constantly dealing with a ever evolving, changing landscape. You have to have a product that sees the vision of what is happening in the greater ecosystem, in the greater environment, from an architecture perspective, from a new threat perspective. So you really want to go with an organization not just for what they can do for you today. And of course, you want to buy something that can do a lot for you today, but you want to see their vision and see where they're going to make sure that it aligns with what you're seeing. You don't want to buy that shelfware, that product that might solve a problem today, but then tomorrow new problems will arise and they're not even thinking about those new problems. They're happy to kind of sit along and kind of ride the coattails of existing functionality. And I think what's interesting about CyberArk is that you do see that vision, right? It is CyberArk has gone beyond PAM and essentially determined where PAM fits in the greater ecosystem of securing your environment, right? And I think when it comes to, if we go beyond 6 months, a year, further on, can you give us a little glimpse of, again, CyberArk? How does CyberArk see, where does CyberArk see itself fit into the greater ecosystem of security products? Like, where do you see that CyberArk plugs in?
Yeah. So you made a lot of great points there. First, I want to make a comment about when customers come to us and they think about their long-term plan and we think about the idea of what is promised. When we have these conversations with our customers, it's not based on a promise. It's based on what we already have readily available in the market today. And they can see it, they can test it. And a lot of times with our basic packages to get folks started with whatever use case they want to start with, they usually get a little bit of something, that they can start testing today, utilize it. It's often not a significant, I would say investment up front for them to get the basics. And so from there, they have real tangible software that they can actually start investigating further use cases for. So they don't have to rely on a hope and a wish. They know what the functionality is that they can grow into. So that's my first comment. And then secondly, when we think about the unknowns and how will CyberArk be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. I'm not a part of the leadership team or the board. Who knows? Maybe one day. But what you can see is our track record and how we've grown. And I think people can, look at that, what's publicly available, and make conclusions from there. One of the things that I've been really excited to see are the different acquisitions we've made. Over the years, I've been a part of seeing Viewfinity come on, which became our endpoint program products. Conjure coming in, helping to secure the non-human accounts and specifically ephemeral environments. When we acquired Idaptive to really jump into the identity space in 2020, perfect timing, by the way, from our executive team. Such a beautiful execution that we did there, bringing them in and rebranding as the identity security company. And now with our acquisition of Venafi, it's officially closed. Venafi is now a CyberArk company. Not only are we so excited, but our customers, my customers that I've been talking to, I've been pleasantly surprised that they are making comments that I've made to myself, which is this is a natural progression for CyberArk. We're now taking the identity security story and we're making it a little bit broader. Now securing machine identities as well. A lot of customers over the years, they've asked me questions around certificate management, machine identities, and we've always said, no, that's not really something that we do. Now we can say it's something that we do, and it's a part of our greater story, with Venafi coming in as a CyberArk company. And so when I think about where CyberArk fits in the greater market, in the space, and as a trusted advisor for our customers, I think we are and can continue to be that identity company for our customers, not just coming in to check a box, but to be a strategic partner for our customers when they think about securing all identities in their environment, not just humans, also machines, also non-human applications as well. I'm really excited about where we are in the future of CyberArk, and that we'll continue to be a leader in our space, and continue to find new ways to innovate and bring that level of security to our customers. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. So to shift gears a little bit. Not we usually do the fun question, but we're not quite ready for the fun question yet. I actually have a more personal question.
Sure.
Can you tell me what you really love about your job?
What I really love about my job? Oh, it's funny. I was actually just talking about this with one of my peers the other day. I love working with our customers. And I know that might sound like a little cheesy, but I think our customers are really fantastic. At least the customers that I'm working with. I can't speak for all CyberArk, although if I go out on a limb, I would say probably all of our customers are pretty amazing. I really appreciate working with folks who take security seriously. And when we work together, we achieve amazing results. And it's been so rewarding for me to be able to work with our customers and bring them through the program that we have. Because when we think about the identity security platform, like I was saying earlier, call back to maybe one of our first topics here, you can't start with everything. It's too much. And you want to start small, get your quick wins, continue to show success to your leadership team and your board as a customer, and continue to build these projects together. They take time, right? One of the things that is sometimes a challenge for our customers is initiating change within their organization. And CyberArk can be a change in some aspects for our customers. And so when we're able to work with them, hand them the plans that we've tailored after working with hundreds, I think probably thousands of customers now with these particular plans, with our Jumpstart packages and our customer success packages, getting there and making sure that they have the small steps in place to reach the final goal and achieving that success. It's just, to me, that's so rewarding. And I know that sometimes it can be a little scary to think about a long-term goal. Maybe a project won't be complete for 6 to 12 to 24 months, but when it is complete, the victory is oh so sweet, right, for my customers. And I love sharing that success with them and making sure that we can all achieve that goal. And also, kind of like what I was saying earlier too, now I'm going to add a little more detail. I knew I was never going to be like a doctor or a lawyer or and any sort of hero in the space of what we think about when we think about traditional jobs. And so I had always kind of hoped that in my position, I might in some way help individuals outside of my own little sphere of my world. And so it's really great to see that when I'm helping my customers to become more secure, I'm not only helping them in their organization, but their customers too. And so humbly, it's just me, thinking about this in this space, but it's so great to know that as being a part of CyberArk and being a part of this movement and securing all identities for our customers, I'm able to help stop malicious hacks and attacks that might take down a hospital or take down the power grid, or take down water companies. We just saw that in the papers the other day. And so it's nice to know that I'm doing just I'm a little part of helping folks to continue to live, the way they want to in this society.
Well, listen, I don't know about you, but whenever I talk about what I do with my son, particularly when he was younger, I would say I'm a superhero. I stop bad guys, right? And I used to tell him this, there's the evil hackers, they want to do really bad things, and I stop them. He's getting older now, he's a teenager. Shout out to Gavin, my son. And obviously, as he's getting older, he understands that I'm not actually fist fighting the
Yeah,
bad
not
guy
wearing a
and,
cape.
saving them. He understands that. But he does understand that. And if you look at what's happening, you mentioned hospitals, literally saving lives, right? People
Right.
could die because of a security breach, which 10 years ago was unheard of,
Right.
right? It's like,
Right.
someone will lose some money, and it'll be inconvenient, and there'll
Right.
be some data exposed. But now we're seeing more and more that you are literally saving lives by securing a medical facility or any other kind of facility. So it is interesting how kind of the mindset has changed. And what's interesting is that, and I don't know if you've seen this too, but I know I've seen you don't have to work as hard explaining the why. You kind of have to explain the what. What you do, what the product does. You no longer have to go into a meeting like you would maybe 10, 15 years ago and say, this is why it's important for you to do it. You have to spend no time talking to someone about the why and just really talk about the what. They know the why. And the funny thing is, it used to be that the security people knew the why. The infrastructure people knew about the why but didn't care because they were busy securing the infrastructure. But now the civilians, I like to call them,
The
non-technical
civilians.
people, the civilians know the why because it's all over the news because they're directly impacted by it. So you're spending less time with the why, right? And more about this is how and this is what we do. So this is the part. This has been amazing. But now this is the part of the podcast where I ask you a non-work
Non-work-related
a
question.
fun question.
Yeah.
So the question I put together for you today is, actually, it's a two-part question.
Okay.
Part number one: if your life was a movie, what movie would it be? It could also be a TV show. It could be a reality show if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
The second part, because you have to think about this, is what movie or show do you want your life to be?
What a thinker. I have to think about this. But I
Take your
guess
time. We'll fix it in post.
I guess I know the answer to the second question first.
Okay.
I would love for my life to be like the Princess Diaries series.
Okay.
Would love to, have a long lost grandma come into my world, tell me I'm a princess of Genovia, right? How incredible would that be? I think we all have, crazy fantasies like that, which makes these movie series so.
And what is it about
thrilling.
being a princess that's so attractive? Is it like the money? Is it the castles, the horses? I mean, what is it about?
All of the above. But one of the things that I've really appreciated about the real royal families out there in the world is that a lot of them seem to do a lot of community service. And they have the time and the ability to do that, to be patrons of a lot of different organizations, charities, the arts. And to be able to have that kind of platform to send positive messages out to the world. I think we can all, really respect what Princess Diana did many years ago. She still has quite the reputation. I don't think I could ever be Princess Diana, but how wonderful would that be to be able to share such positive, messages with the world and to be able to do such incredible work that touches the lives of so many people. So I think about that. And then also the fun answer, the jewelry. Come on.
Jewelry. I don't think I'm familiar with the
the
jewelry. I'm
jewelry.
sorry. I thought you were talking about another movie. I was confused there
The
for a
jewelry
second.
of the royal family. I really appreciate all of the gems
shiny
there,
objects.
the shiny objects, right?
All right, so that's what you want your.
That's what I would want my life to be. When I think about how my life is today, I don't know if I could identify a movie or a TV show that currently embodies where I am. Maybe, I guess shows that I think are really funny are maybe like Friends. And how crazy is it that was filmed so long ago and is still so relevant today, where we're all just trying to live life and go through the motions, but trying to take opportunities to find the small joys in life. Maybe I guess my life today could be like Friends, where it's like it's realistic. You run into your car breaks down, or you get a promotion. Things are exciting, and then you go through the holidays with your friends and your family, and you celebrate the small things in life, and then it's not over yet, right? And I guess that's another reason why it's a little hard to answer the questions, because good news. My movie isn't over yet, so I don't know the conclusion.
And the thing is,
it a comedy? Is it a tragedy?
Sometimes it could be a comedy sitcom, and then there's days where it feels like, a little more drama and a little more, you could go from Friends to Die Hard to Best Christmas Movie, Fight Me.
I've heard that. I respect
So it's like, so I know I asked you the question, and usually I answer too, but this is a hard one, right? Because it is kind of day to day, right? Sometimes it's all great and everything. It's all friends and it's Thanksgiving and you're playing football outside and everyone loves each other, and then the next day it's like, you're at the top of a building and it's a hostage situation and you're the one person that can save everything. But it does feel that way. But I think to kind of bring it back to ultimately what we do for a living, right? Our roles and kind of what we do is to kind of be that. Sometimes it is to be Bruce Willis, no shoes on, and something bad has happened and you got to kind of swoop in and save it. And then other times it's the drama of the drama of reality TV and dealing with all of that, and then other times it's Friends or Seinfeld or some other sitcom. So Alexis, this has been amazing as always. Thank you for being our first guest in the new studio with multiple cameras, which is, it's very sophisticated.
Hopefully all good angles here.
All good angles. This has been fantastic. Thanks again. Thanks for joining us, and come back anytime.
I will, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Smells Like Identity Hygiene. Smells Like Identity Hygiene is a production of Sphere Technology Solutions, and our producer is Matthew Flint. Until next time.